In this video, I'm going to show you how to use a GameCube controller on the Nintendo Switch. The cool thing here is Nintendo just gave us access to use GameCube controllers on the Nintendo Switch in firmware 4.0, which is pretty huge. And of course, you just can't plug in the GameCube controller to the Nintendo Switch because of course it won't plug in. So what you're gonna need here, you're gonna need the Nintendo Wii U's GameCube adapter. So make sure you have a Wii U GameCube adapter for this to work. And of course, this is only gonna work in the dock. It's not gonna work if you're in portable mode. So make sure your Nintendo Switch is connected to the dock. And what you're going to want to do is here, of course, take your Wii U GameCube adapter. Here's what the GameCube Wii U adapter looks like right here. It allows you to plug in 4 GameCube controllers to your Nintendo Wii U or now the new Nintendo Switch. So here we go right here, the Wii U adapter. I'm just going to plug it into the side, of course, with the 2 USB leads coming out of the GameCube adapter. I'm just going to plug it into the side. So there you go, I do have the GameCube adapter connected to my Nintendo Switch's dock. And then I'm going to take my GameCube controller and plug it into the Wii U GameCube adapter like so. And you can see I'm just using a standard GameCube controller right here. Nothing fancy, just a standard purple one right here. And that's pretty much the setup on the hardware side of things. Now I'm going to take you into the Nintendo Switch's menu and show you how to actually set up the Nintendo GameCube controller to work with your Nintendo Switch. I'll see you on the other side. Now back on the Switch, before you play any games with your GameCube controller, you're going to have to pair the GameCube controller with your Switch. If you don't pair the GameCube controller with your Switch, this will not work. So what you want to have to do is you want to go into controllers. So go into controllers on the system's UI, and in controllers there'll be a whole bunch of different options. You just want to click on change grip order. So go into change grip order. Once you're in change grip order, it's going to say press L and R on the controller. Now provided you do have the GameCube adapter connected to your Switch's dock and you do have a GameCube controller connected to that adapter, this should work. So I'm just going to press L and R on my controller and it should recognize my GameCube controller. So as you can see, I just pressed L and R on my GameCube controller and it did recognize my GameCube controller as a USB controller. Now you may be wondering, will other controllers work that are USB? Because it did recognize this as a USB controller. Unfortunately, no. The answer is no. I did try to connect an Xbox 360 controller to those USB ports and it did not work. And I also tried a PC wired USB controller as well, and that did not work as well. So if you're wondering if you can use any other USB controllers on the Switch's native USB ports, the answer is no. It will not work. But right now, it looks like the GameCube controller is actually working. I can actually fully move around in the system's UI. I can control it and everything like that. I have to say, this is actually a step up compared to the Wii U and the Wii U GameCube adapter, the original system it was intended to be used on. Because as you know, with the Wii U's GameCube adapter, if you used it on the Nintendo Wii U, you were limited to Super Smash Brothers, and the only thing you could do with it is actually control Super Smash Brothers. You couldn't even control the Wii U's UI with a GameCube controller. So this is a step up above the Nintendo Wii U's GameCube adapter support. So what I want to know is right now, what games are going to work with the Nintendo GameCube controller. I'm going to be testing out Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Splatoon 2, and I'm going to be testing out an indie game, Graceful Explosion Machine. So I'm going to be testing out a couple of different games. I'm assuming with the first-party Nintendo games, they're going to work flawlessly with the GameCube support because, well, these are Nintendo games, of course. And then I am a little bit iffy with Graceful Explosion Machine. I don't know if Graceful Explosion Machine is going to work because that is an indie game and it may not work as well. So I'm assuming not all games are going to work with the GameCube controller, only some games. But the first-party games should work flawlessly. So right now I am on the main menu of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm just going to go ahead and press L and R. Now here's all the options, and pretty much it works pretty much the same as using a Joy-Con or a Pro controller for your Switch. I'm currently controlling it with my analog stick, but the D-pad will work as well. I'm just going to go ahead and go into a single player options, go into versus race. I'll just use this setup for now. Let's see if I can actually look up the stats of the kart. Yes, if I press the start and pause button in the middle of the GameCube controller, it does bring up the stats as well. So it looks like everything is functioning when it comes to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The real test will be, can I actually do everything in the game when I'm actually racing? So for instance, can I use items? Can I drift? Can I accelerate? Can I do all those things? Because if I can't do some of those things in the actual game, then the GameCube controller is going to be pointless. I'm assuming since it's working so far with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it should be able to work with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, all the actual features. So yes, I can drift, I can control Mario, I can also hop, of course, and what I want to see is, can I use an item? Because as we know, that is the main point of Mario Kart. If you can't use an item, it's pointless. Let me go ahead and try to use this coin. Yep, so for the most part, it is fully functional with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The only thing I am actually experiencing is the fact that you cannot use HD Rumble or Rumble. The Rumble on the GameCube controller is not working, but then again, it's not using HD Rumble. It's actually using an older type of Rumble, so that could be the reason. I don't think you can actually enable Rumble, as far as I know, on the GameCube controller. It looks like if you want Rumble on the GameCube controller, it looks like you are out of luck. But so far, so good when it comes to the GameCube controller support on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm just going to go ahead and back out. There is one other thing I did notice when using the GameCube controller. You can't actually back out of a game with a GameCube controller because, as you know, the GameCube controller has no home button. So the only way to back out of a game when you're actually using the GameCube controller on the Nintendo Switch, you're going to have to use your Pro controller or your Joy-Cons that are currently connected. Now just press the home button on your connected Joy-Con or Pro controller. It'll take a couple of minutes to recognize it, and it'll recognize it as a second player. So I'm just going to go ahead and back out, as you can see. So I had to back out with my Pro controller. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to Breath of the Wild. And this one should be a little bit more interesting because Breath of the Wild actually has more buttons you do need to use to access the game. So let's see if this game actually works with Breath of the Wild. And as you can see on screen right now, it is telling me to press L and R, so it doesn't recognize it right off the bat, which is something Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did. It recognized the GameCube controller right off the bat. You didn't need to do this. So let's go ahead and press L and R when you're ready. Yep. So let's go ahead and continue. As soon as the game loads, let's see if all the functions are available with the GameCube controller on Breath of the Wild. I'm assuming just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it should work with Breath of the Wild, no problem. Okay, so it looks like I can control Link. I can move him, or I can move the camera around with the C-stick. I can use my powers. I can bring out my weapon. I can also attack. I can also jump. I can use my bow. I can throw away my weapon. Now let's see if I can access the menus if I press the start and stop. Yeah, start and pause button. Yes, I can actually control it. The only thing, let's see. It looks like we're going to run into a little bit problem. The only thing is you won't be able... Okay, you can also access the quick access menus for your weapons and all that, but it looks like there is actually a problem with Breath of the Wild. You can pretty much play the whole entire game of Breath of the Wild with the GameCube controller. The only thing that you can't do is you can't actually access the map on Breath of the Wild, so that may be a slight problem, but that's not really too big of a problem. The main things are out of the way, like controlling him, going back into the menu to pick new weapons, drop weapons. So at least you can go into this menu right here. But other than that, you can't access the map, which kind of sucks. But then again, at least all the main functions are there. So for the most part, can you play Breath of the Wild with a GameCube controller? The answer is yes. You can play 100%, excluding the map. So forget the map. You will not be able to use the map, unfortunately, with the GameCube controller. But then again, it's not really a big deal. So let's go ahead and back out of this, and let's go ahead and access Splatoon as soon as my Pro controller activates. And as you can see on screen, it does tell me to reactivate it. So I guess with Breath of the Wild, it is a little bit more finicky or funky when it comes to accessing GameCube controller. It always tells you to press L and R, so it gets kind of confused with what controller you're using there. So it still works, but it's just a little bit more steps to use the controller. You just got to press L and R every time you want to back out or access the GameCube controller. Now let's go ahead and go into Splatoon 2 and see if Splatoon 2 works. And right now I'm actually experiencing a glitch. It's actually disconnected my Breath of the Wild has actually disconnected my GameCube controller. So let's go ahead and press L and R on the controller, and let's go ahead and go back into Splatoon 2 really quick. I had to reactivate my GameCube controller. So that is unfortunate that Breath of the Wild is a little bit more finicky with the GameCube support, but at least, hey, it works with the GameCube adapter and the GameCube controller. That really all that matters. And the answer is nope. You can't play with the GameCube controller. I'm pressing the buttons and it's not working. But then again, it does say ZL plus ZR. So let me go ahead and press. Let me go ahead and reactivate. I'm gonna go back out really quick. Go into controllers. Change grip order. I'm gonna go ahead and reactivate my GameCube controller. Let's go ahead and go back into Splatoon. I think I made a quick error right there when it comes to this. Let me go ahead and press ZLZ. Let me see if I can press L and R on the controller. Yep, it recognized it as a USB controller. And nope. What I'm actually going to try to do is I'm actually going to use the Pro controller inside of Splatoon 2. And then once I'm in the actual main menu of Splatoon 2, I'm just going to hope that it actually recognizes the GameCube controller that way. As soon as I get done with all these updates and all this talking at the beginning. Actually, let's see if I can press the A button right here. It looks like I am. I want to say that I'm actually. This game is getting confused as well, but I want to see if I can actually control with the GameCube controller. So, I was actually trying to control the menu with the GameCube controller, like this section right here, but it looks like it was getting kind of confused right here. And have to reconnect it, and the answer is yes. This is one game that I must say is kind of finicky as well when it comes to the GameCube adapter or the GameCube controller support. It's kind of finicky there, but yes, I can confirm it is working. Let's go ahead and do a match of a Salmon Run and see if I can actually get a game up and running of Salmon Run. Okay, I'm gonna do a freelance. Okay, let's see if I can get a game up of freelance let's see if I can get a game of shit, I'm stuttering. Let's see if I can get a game of freelance working with the GameCube controller as soon as we get a full lobby here. I'm actually pretty nervous about this one just because it was acting really weird at the beginning. I had to do some different steps. It's just really weird when it comes to the GameCube controller support. So let's see if this one will work. Again, I'm probably not expecting it to work with the HD Rumble. So any type of HD Rumble that was supported here probably won't work. Okay. Okay, so this game does work with it, I can confirm, but it is weird when it comes to the actual mechanics of the game. You have to press the Z button on the controller to shoot ink. You have to press R button if you want to throw your sub weapon. And I'm not seeing a way to swim in the ink, so if you can't swim in the ink, this game's going to be kind of limited. Granted, I didn't try all the buttons yet, so I'm going to try all the buttons as soon as somebody helps me back up. Let's see if somebody will be... Okay, somebody did help me back up. Shoot. You can't swim in the ink, it looks like. I'm pressing all the buttons here. Shoot. Yeah, it looks like you can't swim in the ink, so this is not a game you want to play with the GameCube controller. If you want to play Splatoon with a GameCube controller, it looks like you will be limited, and that's not a fun experience. I mean, yes, you can get away with playing it without swimming, but that's really the main point of Splatoon or Splatoon 2, so will this work with a GameCube controller? Unfortunately... it looks like it will not work with a GameCube controller. The last game I'm going to be testing out is going to be Graceful Explosion Machine. But actually, I'm going to go back into really quickly before I go into Graceful Explosion Machine. I actually want to go into the testing area and see if I can actually if I can swim in the ink, because I really didn't have enough time there. I thought I pressed all the buttons, but just rechecking, so, yeah, I was right. You cannot swim in the ink in this game, so this is going to be definitely a problem if you're trying to play Splatoon with a GameCube controller. It is not possible to play it with a GameCube controller. And anyway, even if you did, pressing the Z button is too tiny, so it would be weird anyway, even if you, could swim, because pressing the Z button is just way too small, trust me. It's just very weird, and yeah, it's just not traditional shooting style. So this game is not a go when it comes to the GameCube controller. Let me go ahead and back out of Splatoon 2. Let me go ahead and reactivate my GameCube controller just in case. It looks like it was already detected right there. The last game we're going to be doing is Graceful Explosion Machine. So let's go into Graceful Explosion Machine. So yes, it works with Graceful Explosion Machine as well. Okay. Yeah, so it does work with Graceful Explosion Machine as well. I need to go back out though and go into a different level that has all the weapons already available to you. Yes, everything works on Graceful Explosion Machine. So I'm assuming most games that use the Pro Controller may work. Some of the features and some of the functions may work or may not work, because as you've seen with Splatoon, you weren't able to swim, and that is a big part of that game. And even if you didn't swim, it would just take out the fun of playing Splatoon 2. So overall, Mario Kart 8 was a success. Breath of the Wild was a success, minus not being able to access the map. And then the Graceful Explosion Machine working. And that's the GameCube controller working on the Nintendo Switch. Anyway, guys, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.